Everyone, good morning children. Okay, today we go for that first lesson part 3 children. Okay, look at the globe. Look at the globe. It has two endpoints. It has two endpoints. The point of the top is called North Pole. The top of the point is called North Pole. The bottom of the point is called South Pole. Here how many poles we have children on the circle? Two poles, two endpoints, two endpoints we have on the earth. The top of the point is called North Pole. The bottom of the point is called South Pole. There is a circle running across. There is a circle. It's running across exactly one imaginary line. It's okay. Standing one exactly, this is the imaginary line. This line we called equator. This line we called equator. What is this This line is we called equator. Okay. It is an imaginary line. It is an imaginary line divides the earth into two parts. This imaginary line divides into our earth to two parts. How many parts divided this imaginary line? Two. How many parts Two parts. The half of the part to the north, the half of the part to the north of the equator, the north of the equator, it is called northern hemisphere. It is called northern hemisphere. Okay. While the other half of part to the south of the equator is called southern hemisphere. This one is called southern hemisphere, and what we have the north side, that part is called north hemisphere. Okay. The word hemisphere means, what is the meaning of hemisphere? Means half of a sphere. Half of a sphere. So what is the sphere? Means round shape of any object. Round shape of any object. The other side, whatever we have the thing, but it is on the round shape. That one is we called sphere. Here what we are saying? Half of a sphere. What we are saying? Half a sphere. Once again, see children, look at the globe. You observe the globe. It has two endpoints. It has how many endpoints, children? Two endpoints. North side have the endpoint is called North Pole. South side have the endpoint is called South Pole. There is a circle running across exactly in the middle of the two poles exactly. Okay, end of the middle of two poles is called equator. Two poles is called equator. This is one imaginary line in middle of two poles, children. So this imaginary line we called, what is that line name? Equator. So this equator divides the earth to parts. This equator line divides to the earth in how many parts? Divide two parts. So okay, see here. The half part to north of the equator, the half part to north of the equator, it is called northern hemisphere. It is called northern hemisphere. Okay, what we have the other side? Okay, while the other half of the other part to the south side, south of the equator, it is called southern hemisphere. Okay. The word hemisphere means, so what is the meaning of hemisphere? Means half of a sphere. Half of a sphere. The sphere means that round shape of any object. Sphere means round shape of any object. Round shape of any object, that means we called as sphere. So hemisphere means what is the meaning of hemisphere? Half of a sphere. Half of a sphere is called hemisphere. So this imaginary line divided the earth in two parts. One is the north hemisphere and one is the south hemisphere. So total our earth, how many endpoints have? 2 endpoints. So that endpoints we called poles. What we have, that one is north side is called north endpoint is called North Pole and south endpoint is called South Pole. In the middle of exactly across running that one line, that line is called equator. That line is called equator. So this is the imaginary line. This imaginary line divides the earth into two parts. How many parts? Two parts. Now what we have, that equator up north side, this part is called north hemisphere. What we have, the equator of south side, this part is called south hemisphere. So what is the meaning of hemisphere? Half of the sphere. So what is the meaning of sphere? It is round shape of any object. It is round shape of any object. Okay na ma'am? Yes, any doubt? No. Okay. Most of the land surface is northern hemisphere, while the southern hemisphere is almost covered by the oceans. Most of the land, the north side is surface of the land. Is it or not, children? See here what we have on the earth. And north side completely we have here appearing that green in color. What we have here appearing the green in color, that is the land. Here what we appearing that blue color, this one is water. I mean that oceans. Okay, so north side land have a, water have a, most of land only have. So and the southern hemisphere is almost covered by the oceans. Hence the northern hemisphere is called land hemisphere. Why? Because of here land, almost surface of the land, but south side almost surface of the oceans covered by the water. That's why here the north side, north hemisphere we called land hemisphere. The south hemisphere we called water hemisphere. The south hemisphere we called water hemisphere. Yes, once again. Most of the land surface on the northern hemisphere, while the southern hemisphere is almost covered by the oceans. Hence that northern hemisphere is we called land hemisphere. Why? Because of the north side almost its surface of the land, but the south side almost covered by the oceans. That's why north side is, north hemisphere is we called land hemisphere. The south hemisphere is we called water hemisphere. Okay now? Yes. Okay children. Yes, next. Rotation and revolution. Rotation and revolution. Children, here I will explain in Telugu this word, what is the meaning of these words. Okay, rotation means భ్రమణం, తన చుట్టూ తాను తిరగడం. ఓకే, రెవల్యూషన్ మీన్స్ తిరగడం, వేరే దాని చుట్టూ తిరగడం. ఓకే, యాస్ we know the earth rotates and it axis. We know the earth rotates and it axis. Is it or not, children? This what is the meaning of in Telugu? Our earth, భూమి తన చుట్టూ తాను తిరుగుతుంది అంటారు. As when that ride is coming on that time, all that children are rotating an axis. Is it or not? వాళ్ళు చుట్టూ వాళ్ళు ఇట్లా చేతులు పెట్టి తిరుగుతుంటారు కదా, నన్ను ఆడుకుంటారు కదా వానలో. యాజ్ లైక్ దట్ ద ఎర్త్ ఆల్సో రొటేట్స్ అండ్ ఇట్ యాక్సిస్. Axis an imaginary line. Axis is an imaginary line which runs from one pole the other through the middle of the globe. ఓకే, ఆల్రెడీ ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ వెన్ ద రైన్స్ కమ్, మనం తిరుగుతాం ఒక యాంగిల్లో మాత్రమే తిరుగుతాం, అంతేగాని పిచ్చిగా తిరుగుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోతామా? ఎప్పుడైనా వర్షం పడినప్పుడు ఒక యాంగిల్లో అక్కడ ఏదో సర్కిల్ గీసినట్టు అదే యాంగిల్లో అదే ప్లేస్లో తిరుగుతాం. ఈజ్ ఇట్ అన్నట్? అట్ ద సేమ్ వే ద ఎర్త్ ఆల్సో యాక్సిస్ ఈజ్ అండ్ దిస్ యాక్సిస్ ఈజ్ జస్ట్ ఇమాజినరీ లైన్ but which runs from one pole to the other through the middle of the globe. It makes an angle of 66.5 degrees. So what that earth rotation, that angle, it makes one angle, that one is how many degrees? 66.5 degrees angle it rotates the earth. Okay, the moving of the earth on axis is called rotation. So like this, how like the earth is moving of the earth on the axis, the own axis is called rotation. Tana chuttu tanu tirugutundi. Okay, yes. The earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. The earth takes how many hours time it's taking to complete the round? 24 hours. 24 hours. The earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. It's complete the one round. That time, how much of time taking, children? There 24 hours time. The side of the earth which faces the sun, the side of the earth which faces the sun, it is daytime. That one is while daytime. While the side which turns away that from the sun has, that is night. Okay, you observe this picture, children. This is here earth faces to the sun. Is it or not? This part faces to the sun. So this side we have the daytime, but that other side is night time. When the earth rotate, so these spaces come this side. Is it or not, children? As that time this back side is daytime, and this okay, when it's go back, that time is night time. Okay, are you understand, children? Which side faces the sun, that is night time. The other side is which faces to the sun, that is daytime. The other side is night time. Okay, once again, see, children, the earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. The earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. The side of the earth which faces the sun, has day, while the side turns away from the sun has night. ఏదైతే సన్కి దూరంగా ఉన్న ప్లేస్ ఏమైతే ఉంటుందో అది ఏమవుతుంది? నైట్ టైం. ఏదైతే లైటింగ్ ఎర్త్ మీద పడుతుందో ఇది డే టైం. సన్లైట్ పడని ప్లేస్ నైట్ టైం, పడిన ప్లేస్ డే టైం. Okay, yes, once again, see, children, we know the earth rotates and its axis is an imaginary line which runs from one pole to the other through the middle of the globe. It makes an angle of 66.5 degrees. The moving of the earth and its axis is called rotation. The earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. This side of the earth which faces the sun has day, while the side of which turns away from the sun has night. Okay, once again I read for you. Yes, look at the globe. It has two endpoints. The point at the top is called North Pole and the point at the bottom is called south pole. There is a circle running across exactly in the middle of the two poles. Is called a equator. This line is called a equator. It is an just imaginary line which divides the earth into two parts. The half part to the north of the equator is called north hemisphere, while the other half part to the south of the equator is called the south hemisphere. The word hemisphere means a half of a sphere. The sphere means the round shape of any object. Most of the land surface is northern hemisphere, while the southern hemisphere is almost covered by the oceans. Hence, the northern hemisphere is called a land hemisphere, and that southern hemisphere is called a water hemisphere. Okay, as rotation and revolution, we know that the earth rotates and its axis is an imaginary line which runs from one pole to the other through the middle of the globe. It makes an angle of 66.5 degrees. The moving of the earth and axis is called rotation. The earth takes 24 hours to take one complete round. This side of the earth which faces the sun has day, while the side which turns away from the sun has night. Okay children, this is for today. Tomorrow will continue tomorrow. Okay, remaining lessons will continue tomorrow. Okay ma? Yes, bye.